Good morning. Welcome back to Morning at NTV. My name is Malaki Vilodera. Today we're big on innovation. And so on the solutions segment today, we'll be talking about social impact through innovation. And I'd like you to take a listen and actually take a look at this small animation video.
Girls and women all over the world experience their monthly menstruation period. It is common, natural biological process that is perfectly normal, right? Unfortunately, for millions of girls and women across Africa, their reality is completely different. For 1 in every 4 women of menstrual age, a menstruation period is something that completely prevents them from engaging in normal daily life. And for school-going girls, the situation is especially complicated. The average African schoolgirl will miss 20% of her school year because they lack access to proper menstruation sanitation. And according to UNICEF, 1 out of 10 African schoolgirls will skip class or drop out of school during their menstruation period. Why? Many girls and women cannot afford or do not have access to proper menstrual hygiene pads. They use crude, ineffective materials like scraps of cloth, toilet paper, mattress pieces, and leaves. This is all unhygienic, ineffective, and uncomfortable, leaving them self-conscious and insecure in their daily lives. But what if we could transform the lives of these girls and women? What if we could reduce dropout rates and increase the time girls spend in school? What if we could return the dignity into the lives of these women?
What if we could return the dignity into the lives of these women? And so in studio, I'm joined by Asiimwe Lydia, who is the co-founder of EcoSmart Uganda Limited. Thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure.
You are doing amazing things. And of course,
Yes.
let me start off with this.
Yes.
You guys, this pad is actually made out of sugarcane fiber.
Sugarcane residue, yes.
Wow. Let's start with, of course, you're making a social impact. You're changing the lives of, the less fortunate, especially women, girls in school who actually drop out. 1 out of 10, school-going girls drop out from school just because of that period, that amazing period in our lives as women. So where did your inspiration come from? Because I know before you got into innovation, there was something that really touched you so hard and you said, like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make a difference. What was that for you?
Yes, so I used to work with Camtech Uganda at Mbarara University of Science and Technology. It is close to a hospital, Mbarara Regional Referral Hospital. And it's also an innovating sort of incubator. So while we were walking through the hospital, we meet this young lady called Chomohendo. She was 19 years old, admitted in hospital. She had a genital infection. We start talking to her and she tells us this story of a very old cloth she has been using to manage her menstruation and she has been using it for over a period of 2 years. So that story told us that her infection could have come from that place. And we're asking, don't you know about sanitary pads? And she says, we see these on the market, but they are really not in our affordability range. They are too costly for us, so we use cloth. That day we were inspired and we felt empathetic. We said, we are going to come up with a way of developing a product that they can use to manage their menstruation that is within their range of affordability.
Right. When you say pads that are within their range of affordability, what exactly do you mean? Will you be selling this? And if so, at what price compared to the normal price of a sanitary towel in the market?
So we still have a lot to figure out, but right now we know that when you start making a product using local available resources like sugarcane residue and some other locally made resources, it will definitely come out at a low cost. So we are hoping this product will not go beyond 1,500 Ugandan shillings, but there's still a lot to be figured out because currently a sanitary pad goes for like 3,500 Ugandan shillings. Right. We are working backwards to make sure we cut down the cost to the point where girls from local communities and rural areas and poor backgrounds can actually afford this product.
Today we're talking about innovation and how we can change the conversation, especially of unemployment within the young people. And so Andrew Chamagero was talking about digital innovation. And so here you are one of the young people who actually saw a gap and you filled it. Now, of course, with this comes a cost implication, and you've been able to overcome that milestone. Yeah. Tell us more about that and the people that you're actually partnering with to see this come to fruition.
So first of all, I need to recognize my fellow co-founders.
Right.
I work with university girls, Noella, Susan, Shakira, and a gentleman called Sam. So there was this App Accelerate program where Outbox partnered. Outbox is a business incubator here in Kampala. So they partnered with UNFPA and they were running this App Accelerate program. They were funding each young team with $10,000 US. It was a highly competitive grant. So we went in it and we want to be in the second phase of App Accelerate. That is how we were boosted to move. At that point, we really just had an idea. And we were glad that App Accelerate as a program gave us a chance and funding and support and connections and exposure to prove ourselves, to bring this idea to realization. And from that grant, we were able to go through certain milestones like trying this thing out, processing this baggage and bringing it to this phase.
Yes.
There's quite so much to figure out. Then we conducted a needs assessment exercise. We wanted more information, so we went into these rural communities and interviewed girls in schools. We were asking them, what exactly do you need to improve your menstrual health management? So whatever we are doing, we were informed by our end users. Yeah.
By your end users. So it's
Yes.
very important before,
It is.
if you have an idea, an innovative idea, it's very important to see whether there's a need
Absolutely.
to that.
Absolutely. Or else you come
Okay.
up with a solution that doesn't align with the needs of the people, and that is such a waste of resources. It's always important you talk to people.
And so after App Accelerate and you accessing these funds just for you to start up, how far have you gone? And how soon are we going to see this product in the market?
So ever since we developed this first version, this is not the final version. We developed this first version and we have showcased it at like 3 platforms. Actually, recently we showcased this at the first East and South African symposium that took place in South Africa. We have raised a lot of views from technical people about how we can improve this program. So our App Accelerate cohort ended, but surprisingly, they do not drop you. UNFPA and Outbox have continued supporting us even outside of App Accelerate. And so these views we have been collecting, we are now at a phase where we are going to implement them. We have to soften these, we have to come up with different sizes, we have to make the package right. We still have a lot to figure out.
Okay,
Yes.
all right. And of course, let me have this.
Yes.
Of course, our viewers are wondering, how do we get to this point? How do we turn that into this? And
Yes.
how are you going to get into just having out smoother and more refined pads?
Yeah.
And of course, we did this for you, and we have a video on that particular process, how that is actually changed into this. Let's take a look. We have
to the point where it is dried and it comes out to be a pulp like this.
okay.
And then we soften it, then we dress it up.
We actually have
And-
that video.
Yes.
Okay.
You have the sugar cane and the water that is already steamed coming in here. So what you're doing is boiling the sugar cane residue, mainly to remove the sugar content and to soften it. After, you use the sieve to sieve out the paper all together with the fiber. So the water drains through the sieve. And after this process, you're taking it for drying.
So then you go and get to draw that as well.
Yes.
Take us through.
So at first we were doing the measurements manually ourselves. We agreed on these measurements based on how a girl would feel comfortable, what kind of size of a sanitary pad we wanted.
Yeah.
So we do make those cuttings, and then you have to consider the wings. We are not innovating something that is different from sanitary pads designed and sizes that are already existing, because that research has been done.
Right.
But we are doing the cutting of this particular product to make it the absorbent material of the sanitary pad we are making. Yes, so that is the cutting you are seeing, but of course, as we grow, we will improve this to having molds that are actually designed to do the cutting.
Wow, so what's happening there? What's that machine?
So we were also supported by Uganda Industrial Research Institute, and that is the machine that steams the fiber. Yes.
To sterilize it.
To sterilize, to remove the sugar content, and also to soften it.
Oh.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yes.
Okay, so moving forward, of course, you still have a long way to go. Like you're saying, this will go to the final process.
Yes.
So as an innovator, what has been the major challenge for you before you realize your dream and the dream of others, just getting this now in the market? What has been the challenge for you getting to this point? Of course, you've made great milestones. Just getting a prototype is a great deal. Congratulations for that.
Thank you.
But moving forward, what would you say is the greatest challenge that innovators face?
So first of all, we are lucky that we got funding support. I'm sure one of the biggest challenges innovators in Uganda would face is having that sort of funding support and someone to believe in them and help them move that idea. So in most times when you go to an investor, they will say, before you figure this thing out, I cannot invest my money in it. So when you have an idea, it is very hard for people to want to support it. Otherwise, they feel they are going to lose their money if they invest it into an idea. So we were lucky as EcoSmart Pads that we had UNFPA and Outbox and Camtech believe in us and support us. But innovators out there who don't have that sort of support must be really struggling.
Let me ask you, what was it for you? Because I know for you to have gotten to that point where you got even your initial funding, you put yourselves out there.
Yes, we did. We did.
What was your trick?
So you have to have this idea and be bold about it. So we started talking and making noise about it. And then we went on Facebook and started saying, women, girls, let's stand up, let us support our fellow girls, let's come up. We have this idea, if you can support us in any way, please do. We put our emails out there and people started sending links of organizations that are actually willing to support this kind of initiative. And that's how we landed on the Up Accelerate call. And we applied and came through.
Are you still applying for further grants?
Yes, we are, but fortunately UNFPA has not dropped us. As I speak, they want to continue funding the process of improving this product to the final phase. We have already, there's an agreement that is already being signed between UNFPA and Outbox once again to help improve this product, and it starts in September to August. So by the end of August, we will have finalized this project.
I'm sure there's an innovator watching us today who is really looking at, okay, fine, when you approach such organizations that are willing actually that fund such projects, what do they look for you to qualify? What are the requirements and what should you do to just place yourself in a place whereby they will see you, they will see the need, they will believe in your innovation and actually invest in it? What's the trick? What's the process?
First of all, they need to see the passion. You can't start talking about an idea that you're not passionate or even sure about. So they read the passion, they read the empathy. That is very important. It's silent, but it's really important. And then also they need you to have data and statistics, like, is this need real? Did you speak to the people? Do they want this kind of solution, or we are going to waste resources? So that was also very, very important. Then they're also looking for a team that is hardworking, that is self-driven. Like, they won't be giving you a fund or support and they are following you or micromanaging you. They want people who are self-driven. And once you present that, and then also you have to be able to speak about your idea with confidence and in a short time help them understand exactly what problem you're trying to solve.
Do they also look for the numbers?
Numbers
in terms of money, like your projection in terms of cost, what you will need, what
Yes.
you'll use it for, like the breakdown of the
Absolutely,
budget.
absolutely, they do. But that happens at a phase after they have been convinced that your idea makes sense and you're highly passionate about it. Then they qualify you, and then they say, come up with a work plan and a budget, tell us what it is you want. So you have to break your development down into phases, yes, and then also attach figures to it. And usually they may not be able to fund 100% of the entire strategy, but they'll give you a certain fund to run a phase. And when you prove that you have performed very well at that phase, they will support the next phase. So it works like that.
It works like
Yes.
that. Let's get to the team dynamics.
Yes.
Because I know of stories whereby innovators came together,
Yeah.
they started out in a very good way, they got initial funding,
Yeah.
but in between, problems started cropping up
Yeah.
and they just couldn't work together, and
Yeah.
the project failed. So for you, how have you been able to just keep that team together and still maintain your vision for this particular project?
I would say clear distribution of responsibilities. Each one of us on that team has a certain strength in a certain area of this project development. I know that Shakira is very good with speaking to people in the field, so she leads the field work. I'm good at coordinating details of a project and making sure everything is running, so I do project coordination. Noella is like our head, like our CEO. She's really good with partners and speaking to people, fundraising. Then we have Susan, who is really good with the production details. She knows how to follow these things up, the branding, the styles, the design. She's really good at that. When you give each team member a specific responsibility, they can run, they keep active, and they keep together. And you have to look at this fund not like something that has come to support you, but something that has come to support the initiative.
Tell us more about that, because I'm sure now when it comes for many problems that crop up in groups is because of the coin, because of the money. So tell us more about that.
In fact, these grants we receive have completely nothing to do with us as individuals. They are not meant for our benefit. That is why people would fight. This fund is 100% supposed to be dedicated to the development of the project.
Right.
And this is like our baby as a team, and we want it to grow. So we have to join hands and put every resource available to it. In fact, we do fundraise to even top up what we receive so that we are not entirely dependent on the people who are supporting us. So we do not have those issues yet.
Yeah, congratulations for that.
Thank
okay,
you.
as we come to a close, what would you tell an innovator watching us today who is looking for inspiration, who maybe tried and couldn't make it and so lost hope in their innovation and in their dreams? What would you tell them?
Unless you're not sure or passionate about what you're doing, you cannot lose hope. I want to speak directly to female innovators because women were designed to empathize, were designed to feel for those who are in need. So that is what should drive you as an innovator. However hard the road may get, you do not give up on something you know is meant for the right cause. For example, if girls in rural communities are struggling to manage their menstruation health, and yet this is a natural process in life, how do you ignore something like that?
Right.
Just because I'm in a position where I can afford a good sanitary pad, that doesn't give me a right to ignore it. So you have to look at the challenge, and the pain that people are going through is what drives you through the challenges. And I can assure you, as an innovator, you will meet some hurdles, but you don't give up, you press on, and one day you look back and say, and tap yourself on the shoulder and say, this is a job well done. When you see the people you're trying to help actually being helped by the solution you brought to market.
Thank you so much, Lydia,
You're
for coming in the
welcome.
show.
It's a
and
pleasure.
we wish you
Absolutely.
all the best.
Thank
We'll
you.
bring you in back once this is done into a final product. And of course, I'll be sure to maybe use one of this. Never know.
Absolutely, no, you will.
Because I know I also can use this.
You will
It doesn't
get the
matter,
first
right?
packet that comes out. Yes.
Okay, thank you so much, Lydia, for coming
my
in
pleasure.
studios.
My
That has
pleasure.
been the conversation today. Just inspiring you, the innovator, on how to get to the next level. Like she says, it won't be easy, but stick to the course and you will make it someday. So that has been the conversation. My name is Malaki Villaodera. Stick here. Up next is Take Note.
Ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling. Drink Pepsi.